I'm so mad.
Hey y'all, what
How
up
you
though?
Hi, I'm Cam.
I am Kay, and thank you for stopping by and
And
watching
welcome
another
to
episode of Clink,
Clink.
the recap.
Recap with this scrumptious, delicious hot
Yeah, we
homemade
still
hot
got the
chocolate.
homemade hot chocolate. Yeah, okay. Let me get this out the way so we can talk about what we just saw 5 and 6. That's a refresh. So but let me welcome everybody that's new and welcome everyone that's our loyal listeners. Thank you. And if you're new, we are just a couple of sister friends. We are filmmakers, we are podcasters, we are creators. We do all we do all the things, okay? And on this our show Clink on Tuesdays, we recap different shows. And
right now
we are recapping Johnson.
Not Johnson's,
Right.
but Johnson.
Johnson. It is an original series on Bounce TV. You can watch all of the seasons on Brown Sugar app, which is crazy because I first saw it on the Bounce app, but they took it off. Don't know why. Yes, it comes on Bounce. Why would it take it off?
If you have Amazon Prime, you can get Brown Sugar app on that.
Yeah, like $5.99, or
I think it's free.
It's $5.99.
For Amazon or for Brown Sugar?
For the app, it's an app, but you can get it through Amazon, but it's $5.99 a month. Or you might want to check out, see if YouTube has episodes. They might have the full episodes. Yeah,
I don't know because I have Prime and I don't pay $5.99 for anything. It's some apps that are. Anyway,
no, that's not included. That's an in-purchase app. Yeah. So Johnson is basically a show that I really want everybody to be watching, especially if you're Black. This is good content. It's about 4 group of guys,
American Black men who are all fine.
They are friends. They have been friends since like grade school, so like over 20 years. They go through up and downs in their personal life, and their friendship itself is challenged.
And I like it because it's real. It's very
relatable.
Subjects. Some of them are married, some of them are single, and they even have an interracial couple, which is really great to show us that aspect of life as well.
Yeah, so it's a good show. So y'all go ahead and support. We always talk about we want shows for us by us, and this is one. And
especially for the brothers, I think it's something very good for the brothers that they can see and relate to.
Yeah, this is good, and so this because the guy that plays Greg, he is the creator and the writer of the show, and I love his perspectives. I love his writing style.
I love his creative mind.
Just love it. Okay, so we are going to be talking about episodes 5 and 6.
Whoa, honey, I came into this a little heated because we just came off of watching, and I'm like, ah! But you can start it off with episode number.
So 5. So in 5 at the beginning, we learned that Omar, we finally know what Omar does. He is in tech. Okay.
So he's giving a presentation.
Smarty pants. So he is he's trying out his pitch in this episode. Because they have him and his partner, they have a meeting with some potential investors. So they're just rehearsing their pitch. And so he learns that he calls Naomi, right? Because he wants to take Caleb to the movies. And she says no, because he got into a fight.
Yeah, she says no. But it's so crazy because with Naomi right now, everything that he does is a no.
But she did change her mind.
That's her first answer is no. Yeah. But she did change her mind. But then again, she tells him he can come over at 3 before he does his homework. So she's definitely wanting to control.
And Caleb is like, he can hear what she's saying. So when she said that he can come over, he got happy because he wants to see his dad.
Yeah.
So, Lord, so remember when we left off last week? Ari left her phone in Greg's car, so
we think it's on purpose, but we'll see.
Right, we see Selena and Greg. They're about to go out, and she finds the phone.
And instead of him telling the truth,
the
first thing, just tell the truth. First thing he says is, "Oh, I have 4 people, so one of them had to sit in the front seat." Lie.
Right, because she was like, "Why would this up in the front?" Right. So he was like, "I had 4 people on one side in the front." Instead of him just saying,
and she believed him, so he takes the phone and tosses it in the back, and she has no reason to believe him because he had no reason to lie.
Yeah,
but he did. So they're going to go eat breakfast.
Yeah, they're going to the Slutty Vegan in the A. I heard of that place, so it's a line. So they see Lisa and Jarvis because they're at the front of the line at this point.
So of course, if you see your people, what are you gonna do? I'm going to the front. You got to go to the front. So when they go to the front of the line, the people that are behind Jarvis, they're like, "Oh no!" They exchange some, go a little bit back and forth. And Sister Girl was not playing. She took her earring off like she was about to get. She died for her man. Mm-hmm. She was not playing at all over Greg. So that was kind of cute.
Yeah. So so
they do stay in the line.
They stay in the line, and Jarvis
says he's going to pay for the people behind his meal.
Because it was about some stuff to be started, but
Greg's girl like, he gonna pay for our food too,
right? Because Greg was like, you don't have to do that. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. So the guy was like, you gonna pay for my wife too? And he was like, yes, I pay for hers as well. So now we see Greg, not Greg, but Omar. He's talking to his son about fighting.
So of course they have that whole male bonding moment because his son tells him that, yeah, Daddy, I beat him up. I gave him an uppercut. So of course he give him a play because we do teach our kids don't get bullied and beat up in school. Right. And of course Naomi is not happy. She's not happy.
I don't understand. See, if I had a child, I will. Right. I'm like, you better stand up for yourself. You better put hands.
You better pop on. You won't get it. The way I was raised, you wouldn't get in trouble if you got into a fight. Mm-hmm. Especially if you didn't start it, and if you're in a situation,
you're defending yourself. Come on.
Yeah. So of course Naomi, she is so in her world. She's very giving him the side eye, but he giving his son a high five, like, yeah, that's what you do. But then he pulls it back in. Because she's looking over at him with disapproval. And he's like, okay, son, next time try to talk to the teacher. And he says, you know what, Dad, in your generation, that made it work. But in this generation, you'll be considered a snitch.
Right, saying nobody wants to play video games and have lunch with a snitch.
And he said, and
that's true. Nobody, come on now.
It's different in the world for these kids today.
Yeah. So Bianca calls up Keith.
With her opportunist ass. She get on my nerves. She playing her role though, because I don't like her. She's playing her role.
So she calls Keith up because she needs a place to stay while they're fixing on her apartment. Mm-hmm. I'm like, you don't have no other friends, right? You don't have no other friends. What about the people at the club?
Right, the one that he was buying drinks for. So she wiggles her way into his apartment, and they are sitting there watching kung fu flicks, but she does do a little nice gesture. She goes in and finds leftovers and hooks him up a meal.
Mm-hmm. And okay, we stand on it. So
she's very true.
When she did that, Keith was like, "Oh, that's nice," and he really liked it. So he told her he had a surprise for her, and he told her to close her eyes, and she did, and he turned around like this life-size portrait that he took of her, and she loved it. It was a nice picture. Whoever took that for real, that was a nice picture. So he said that it's hers, of course, but he wants her to loan it to him so he can put it in his
showcase
art
it
gallery.
in his gallery when he gets it. And of course, she says yes, and the people in the Dominican will be so happy that she's made it and she's arrived. So after he does this,
because he said it takes money. You know, he's trying to get.
So by her being showcased in the gallery, she finally pays him the money that she owes him. Isn't that convenient?
Right. So now we are with Greg, Selena, Jarvis, and Lisa. They are eating at the Slutty Vegan. And they have a discussion because Jarvis was like, shoot, some years ago, I wouldn't even come to this neighborhood. I guess it was like the hood.
Right.
And so Selena was like, yeah, good old gentrification. And
of course, Jarvis looks really funny because his wife is Caucasian. So he's feeling a little uncomfortable. And
I don't think he was feeling uncomfortable because his stance on that, it's like some people I know too, Black. You know, they don't look at that as gentrification. They look at it like, oh, it's cleaning up the city. And
it's business.
You know, so he's one of those. And so Greg is like, dude, what are you talking about? So you rather have like a coffee shop than people being misplaced, you know, forced out their homes?
Yeah, but by the time Greg and his girlfriend started talking, she did feel a certain type of way because they were like, rare. They jumped on it. It just became a heated conversation. And Jervis says, you know, that's why you shouldn't talk politics with your friends.
Yeah, but that was after they learned that he voted for Trump.
Well, Trump's name was mentioned, but they were, even if they didn't vote for Trump, it's still that color thing.
Yeah, because I know there's a lot of friendships.
That's why you shouldn't talk politics.
That was tested. That was like, cause you know, with that one, I was like, yeah, okay, Jarvis.
That's a lot. So then they were also at that point talking about the water boys, how the young men sell the water for profit, and he says, well, he would rather them be doing that instead of stealing and robbing people. So they talked about that issue. They brought that issue up as well.
Yeah. So we're back with Keith and Bianca, but we told you what happened. So it was like that. It was like a tender moment, you know, after she paid him. He was about to go. They know they had that little gaze. He's about to go in for the kiss, but she realized, like, okay, he is like liking me like that. So she did like the fake, like karate chop move, the perfect friend zone stance.
Yes, friend zone. She's really good at that. So they fall on the bed and they just start laughing and joking. So in essence, he didn't get none.
Right. So it goes to Selena and Greg. They are cuddled up on a couch watching a movie.
Look like they had just finished doing something.
And lo and behold, Ari calls. Mm-hmm. And you know how, Selena, I saw her looking at the phone. You know, we gonna look at the phone now. We gonna look. When we cuddle. If it's out there, we gonna look.
And especially if we cuddling and you gonna answer. And it ain't your mama.
Right. So he picked it up and she was like, hey, so you can hear her, right? So Selena could hear that it was a woman's voice. And so she was like, babe, you want me to pause it? On purpose. Y'all know how we do.
Yeah, she was like, hey, boo. He right here. Hey, you want me to pause that?
Hey, baby.
Boo. And of course, with his not so intelligent self, he gets up off the couch and goes into the bathroom.
And takes a call. And I'm like, what?
Why would you
if it's nothing,
sit there and
say, you're looking guilty.
Yeah.
You're looking guilty. Right, excuse me.
So that kind of makes you feel like he has feelings. He feeling something. Because you know. But we don't know because I haven't watched anything else yet. But yeah. So he goes in the bathroom and she's like, I really need my phone. I can come and pick it up.
And he's like, no, you don't do that. He's like, I'll give it to you.
She's like, oh, lock in my work phone number. And so he locks it in and he goes out. I guess he goes back out to the couch.
Yes. And so in this final scene of episode 5, Omar and Naomi, they're talking on the porch. And
she brings him a beer.
Yeah, she brings him a beer. She has a glass of white wine.
She's being sweet.
But Omar says, they're having a conversation, right? And they're almost kind of like getting into an argument because he was saying, like, what happened? Like, we said we was going to work it out, but then 2 weeks later, you filed for divorce, and she was like, I told you, I had to pray about it. And he was, he got kind of like upset at
he's
that.
Like, why do you keep bringing the deacon and other people into our business? And she's like, well, he married us and blah, blah, blah.
He was like, her pastor when she was a kid.
Yeah. He always sides with you. And she was like, yeah, because I'm always right.
I'm like, girl,
wow. When you're getting counseling, you do need somebody who's
that's biased,
impartial.
Yeah.
Not somebody who you've known since you're a kid. Yeah. So, of course, that's making him feel a certain type of way. Like,
not biased, I should say.
Right.
Yeah. So I like the line when Omar was like, he's like, I'm not your competition. He said, there's no need to fight. And then Naomi says, it's funny how when I don't submit, that you think I'm fighting. I'm like, oh, you like submit. He was like, I just want to handle this, the situation with Caleb, like out of the courts. Like, we can do that. He said, I don't want no white man telling me when and if I can see my kid or not.
And she says, oh, don't worry about it, honey, because I have my lawyer trying to find a black woman.
Yeah, she said, neither do I, because we're trying to find a black woman.
So in other words, she wants everything to be tipped over in her favor. But he also mentions, like, he mentions about work and about something and an incident that happened in the parking lot. And she kind of gets kind of quiet when he says that.
Because he lost his, so Omar is in tech, smart guy. So he lost his tech job because of that incident. That's when he was fighting. That's when, that's his anger issues. And then he lost his job. And Naomi had to hold down the family.
But he's like telling her, like, he had a job. He has another job now. And he says, you're buying him a lot of expensive things. And she was like, well, that's my son. And I'm going to buy him these things because I don't want him to have to basically, like, feel a certain type of way or have to think that he has to struggle. But he does want to take care of his son, but she's not allowing him to because she's like, I got this.
Yeah, and I think that comes from how she grew up. She said she don't want her son to grow up like that, how she grew up. So she want him to have everything, which is understandable.
It is, but he got a father who wants the same things for him too.
So, she goes in the house on that note. She's like, see you in court. And then we go to...
it starts raining.
Yeah, and then we go to the next episode 6. And Omar is pitching to the potential investors for real this time. And they're really liking what they're hearing. They're really interested and intrigued with the app that he and his partner created. So
So they have some light conversation back and forth. They're interested. So the guy asked him for the projections, which is great. So that means they're talking about the money now.
Yeah. So now... Jarvis is on the phone with Kevin, so it sounds like that, he's going to be doing that deal with his dad and him and Kevin.
And then Kevin breaks out and says, we're going to put it in the newspaper.
Press conference.
A press release. And he's like, a press release? And Jarvis at this point is in the office talking to Kevin because Kevin brings him the proposal for, what's his name?
No. So.
No, he is talking
No. So
he is in the office. He does.
Yeah, he's in the office, and he's finishing up his phone call. His 11 o'clock is there, which is Keith.
I said the wrong names. Keith.
but before he gets off the phone with Kevin, because like Cam said, they want a press conference, but he's not really feeling that. He's confused about why they have to have a press conference.
So why do you have to have a press release about you giving me money if this is supposed to be between you and I? So he's not feeling that at all.
So Keith comes in. He just wanted advice from Jarvis.
It was cute though, because when Keith made his appointment, he made it under a fictitious name,
like marijuana.
Under some girl's name that he said from high school or something.
Marijuana. It's marijuana.
Yeah,
that he used to indulge in back in the day.
So his assistant, she's like, "What's that?" And then he starts explaining to her. And he's like, "Don't tell her nothing."
And then he was like, "Don't worry, I'll tell you later." She's like, "Okay, good, thank you." I love that. I just love that whole thing there.
The exchange back and forth.
Yeah. So Keith is he came to Jarvis asking for advice because he's asking about that property that he saw. He was saying that, the rent was really high because it was a short-term lease. But Jarvis like, I'll reach out to the agent and I'll see if he said because that area was struggling, so you can probably get it cheaper. So he's gonna hook them up with that.
That's what happens when you got friends in high places. So Jarvis is gonna work his magic to try to get those prices down.
Mm-hmm. So, oh Lord. So at this point, we see what's his name? Greg go to the supermarket, go to the liquor store, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
there comes those
water boys approached him. What 3 for $10 or something like that?
Yeah, they're like, man. He's like, I'll give you $5.
I give you $5
for 2.
And they were trying to hit it. He's like, okay. Then they're like, okay, man, we'll take the 5. So
he goes into the store to get what he gonna get, and when he comes out, his window is busted out, and they took his wallet and Ari's phone.
Yep. So now
he's pissed.
Greg, they're on he's meeting the bros on the basketball court. So he pulls up. He has a
window
like some wood or something, on his
on his
window,
classic car,
his old school. Okay. Where it was nice. It is nice. I like that old school. Yeah. So I guess he already told them what happened because Omar's clowning him, talking about the water boys, like they robbed you with the water gun.
Right. So they asked him, did you report it to the police? And he said, no. He said, because it's too many times they don't give young black men a chance. When they commit crimes or do things, they really want to throw the book at them. So he didn't report it.
Yeah, and Jarvis was he like, why not? And so Omar reminded him, like, remember when you stole that starter jacket out of Foot Locker? Right. He was like, that was different. And it was like, no, it wasn't.
And he like, oh.
So we just letting all the criminals go. Okay. He was like, I'm like, boy.
But you was a criminal. Foot Locker, you had
a whole starter jacket.
You had a whole lot of So they're playing basketball, trying to attempt to play basketball, and it got a little tense.
It got a little heated. Omar kind of like stopped and said, I can see, both of you guys' points. Because it's tension. It's tension between Greg and Jarvis. Because, Greg feels like Jarvis has changed and he's like not he's changed. Like since he went off to school. Right. He went to Ivy League school, I believe Harvard, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But he went to Ivy League school, came back, he married a white wife, and Jarvis was like, he always get stares and stuff about his wife.
But why should I have to get it from my friends? Is what he's saying.
And then it was something he said because my brother's friend said something like this. Because Greg was like, you married a white one where that's like cliche. You're successful and all these beautiful sisters out here. And Omar was like, he right. He said, but he's like,
I married who I fell in love with. That's what Jarvis's defense was. I married who I love.
He was like, black women weren't checking for me anyway when I didn't have nothing. Now I got something. Now they for he like missed me with that. And my brother's friend, he is a very smart guy. He's an engineer. Mm-hmm. Make nice money, 6 figures. So they live in San Diego. And my brother said that his heart, he wants to be with a black woman, but they're not really checking for him like that. These other that see his see how good of a guy he is, but he wants a black one. But he was like, they're not really. I'm like, wow, that's got to be something.
I know. I mean, that's a hard one on both ends of the spectrum. So what ends up happening, they're trying to still play ball even after this conversation. And Greg is like, keep pushing Jarvis down and being real rough with him. And he like, what's up? So he won't stop. So they get ready to get into a fight.
Yeah, they get ready to get into a fight. Of course, Omar breaks it up. And
Omar to the rescue.
Omar he's like, you can tell he's the glue in the friendship. Mm-hmm. That glue everybody goes to, everybody call. They go to him first. He's just like the strong one or whatever. Yeah. But so
But
Jarvis and Greg have an exchange, and really Jarvis is fed up with Greg. He said he always he gets, like he trying to have to defend his blackness. He shouldn't have to do that to his friends, to his brother.
His brother, and he was pissed. I could feel
that whole performance.
He did that.
He did that.
I could feel you, Jarvis. Jarvis was like he got hood enough, but still kept it classy, cool at the same time. You did that, Jay. Because I was like, all right, but I kind of wish I would have. No, just no. What? I wish somebody would have got popped. I guess that's the Omar in me coming out. I'm not fighting. He was so, but I like the way he handled it with a lot of class. Like, that's my brother, and he walked away. Because when you are a strong man, you can't walk away.
He just over it. He's over it, and I think he's done. Yeah. Yeah. So he leaves, and Keith and Omar, they look at Greg like, dude, you're wrong for that.
Right. So they all kind of like, they don't say much. They just kind of like ice him and walk away. And then at the end, he's trying to tell Omar, come on, we could do one-on-one. Omar just gave him that brother-father look like, no, because you were wrong.
Yeah.
He gave him a look that he said everything without saying a word. And he walked away. He's talking about, well, I guess I just have to do some one-on-one then. Yeah. Some singular stuff.
So we go to the club. Eugene, aka DL Hughley, owns. He's talking with his friend Earthquake, and Earthquake, dumbass, talking about he down there in his 60s. Talking, I think I'm ready to settle down.
Right. Introduce me to one of your wife's friends. Like,
for the book club.
No. He's talking about, the little round one. He's like, no, she was married to a deacon. And he's talking about, oh, good. He like, no.
Right. So we see Omar at the bar with his partner, and they having beer. It's kind of like celebrating because they can. The pitch went well.
Yeah.
And his baby, I think his name Tyler.
His partner's,
Tyler, this is his partner. His baby needed some diapers. He told him, "Go on home, man. I got this."
He gonna pull out his phone and Google talking about how long can a baby go without diapers. I was like, if you don't get your behind home, and he told him just go ahead and he would pick up the tab.
Yeah. And guess who walks in and sit in his spot right next to Omar?
The señorita, honey. She coming in, honey, looking bootylicious because she got on something that's tight.
Right.
And she goes, "Oh, I know you. You are Omar. You snatched
like I know that voice, And so Omar, he was like, "Oh yeah." So they're drinking and they get to talking,
and he keeps trying to leave, but she's like, "Oh no, have another drink because she wanna."
Yeah, she's waiting on her. She missed her red-eye flight, so she
to Miami.
So she has to catch the flight in the morning. So she's just there, and it was so funny because what did I have my notes? Because she asked, she was like, "How come you didn't call me?" And he was like, "You seem like he said you seem like the type that would lead somebody on."
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Ooh." I said, like she's doing the Keith. But then she said something. She was like, "I don't lead nobody on."
She said they can assume.
Mm-hmm. She said, "I don't tell them nothing." And she don't.
And she don't. She just let you assume. So Keith shouldn't be such a... But Omar knows how Keith is, and he should have told him. So, when stuff happen, you need to tell people from the beginning. You can avoid a whole lot of heartache and pain. So anyway, Earthquake and DL, the uncle and his friend, they look at him. He like, "Oh, ain't he married?"
Right.
And he's like,
legally.
And so he's like, "Oh, he need to give me one."
Right. Like he got two. He can give me one. So then we see Bianca wanted Omar to give her a ride, and he was like, "Just don't stick me with that Uber bill." Then he pays the bartender. Then we see Lisa and Jarvis in the kitchen. Jarvis is drinking some scotch.
He's venting to her, and she says, "Oh, you only drink that when you've had a very stressful day."
Yeah, so he just told her basically what happened and between he and Greg, and she was like, "Well, if your friendships aren't serving you anymore, it's time for you to move on. And he agreed.
He agreed, but I think what she's missing is they're not like friends; they're more like brothers. So sometimes you gotta say maybe y'all should try to work it out. I think I would have said y'all should try to work it out, especially when somebody's had a relationship over 20 years.
Like you said, that's family.
Yeah, but she's already, you can tell, wanting him to be separated from them because she wants him to jump on board with her people and her friends. So we go back to Omar and Bianca
kissing in her hotel room,
kissing and getting hot,
and
I was pissed. I'm like, no, your married ass. You are not divorced,
and that how your boy feels about her.
Right. And that's what I was pissed off about. It's like, he's in love with her. So why are you even doing this? Because she don't know, but you know.
Yeah.
She don't know that's your friend.
Yeah.
So
that's where it ended, y'all.
But if Bianca was like, shoot, I want some of that.
I mean, but can you blame her?
No, because Omar is fine.
Omar Thomas Q Jones. With your nice looking self.
Honey, let's link to that.
Woo,
honey.
Okay.
So we thank you very much for joining us for this recap of Johnson.
Yes.
And this hot chocolate is fire.
So we want y'all to watch it. Watch it if you can. Again, it's on the Brown Sugar app. Okay, you get that via Amazon Prime if you have that. I'm sure it's probably on the phone as well. But it is a good
solid series. And it caters to the brothers, but also to the sisters.
Yes,
because
it does.
Everything on there is relatable.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Cam, take us out.
Okay. Well, you can send any questions, comments, or anything to allthingscamandk@gmail.com. And we thank you for joining us for this episode of Clink, and we will see you next time. So until then, bye. All right. Okay, girl, I'm sleepy. Girl.